Pokemon Legends ZA introduced 45 new Mega Evolutions, bringing the total to 93. Back in Gen 6, where the first batch of Mega Evolutions were introduced, they were generally considered to be the top dogs in their respective formats due to their high power, versatility, and lack of other strong regular Pokemon. However, after 3 generations, we've been introduced to some incredibly broken non-Mega Pokemon that make some of these new Megas in ZA look pathetic. The cost of using up your Mega slot and your item slot is way too high for some of them to thrive when we have things like Urshifu and Fluttermane in the game that don't have either of those issues. So in this video, I'm going to take a look at new Mega Evolutions and theorize how they could actually be balanced in the power-crept modern meta if they weren't Mega Evolutions, but rather regular Pokemon that didn't have to give up their item slot. Since we don't know any of their abilities yet, I'm going to be picking a fitting and balanced ability that would give them a good use. First, we have Mega Malamar. Our friend Malamar got one of the worst, if not the worst, Mega Evolution base stat distribution. Plus 10 attack, plus 30 special attack, plus 45 special defense, and plus 15 speed? What is this supposed to do? With a base stat total of only 582, its stats are basically just slightly better Pheasantipity, which is an okay mon. I think that if it was a regular non-Mega, something that would give it a fantastic use is Dazzling. Farigiraf is one of the best Trick Room setters in doubles due to its ability Armor Tail that protects the user's side from priority moves. This means no Fake Out and no Prankster Taunt, both of which are commonly used to stop Trick Room. Even when you're not trying to set Trick Room, stopping Extreme Speed, Grassy Glide, Thunderclap, and Sucker Punch is extremely useful. So if Mega Malamar got Dazzling, which also protects from priority moves, it would be kind of a side grade to Farigiraf as it has lower HP but higher defense and special defense with access to some pretty interesting moves that would give it a great use. Topsy-turvy flips stat changes, which would be absolutely comical against a boosted Dondozo or anything else that heavily relies on stat boosts. Knockoff is stab and good utility since it removes items. Switcheroo can be used to give your opponent a choice item and screw them over, and Hypnosis is an inaccurate sleep move, but an option if you're willing to take the risk of missing. I don't think any of these things would completely outclass Farigiraf though, since Malamar is 4 times weak to U-turn, has higher speed which is worse for Trick Room, and doesn't have the valuable Ghost immunity to deal with things like Calyrex Shadow's Astral Barrage or Fluttermane's Shadow Ball. Next, we have Mega Pyroar. Mega Pyroar has the laziest base stat distribution of any Mega since it just got plus 20 in each stat. Its stats were very mediocre to begin with, and plus 20 in everything isn't specialized enough to be useful. But if it was a regular Pokemon that could hold an item, its stats are very good, and it would make for a great pseudo-legendary-like Pokemon. It has higher speed than Chi-Yu, Volcarona, Armarouge, and Torkoal, which is good because it doesn't really have any way to boost its speed other than Flame Charge and Trailblaze, which you probably wouldn't use since they're both physical, although the secondary effect is good enough that it's probably still worth it. As an ability, I would suggest Competitive, which would allow it to counter Incineroar, as well as any other stat luring effects like Icy Wind, Electroweb, and Snarl. It has 2 great stab spread moves of Heat Wave and Hyper Voice, with Hyper Voice being good for neutral damage and Heat Wave being good for hitting the steel types that resist normal. Its coverage is pretty bad though, with it at least getting Solar Beam for hitting the water types that resist fire, and Dark Pulse for hitting the ghost types that are immune to normal. With limited ways of setting up its special attack or speed compared to the other special attacking fire types I mentioned, of Chi-Yu which has Nasty Plot, Volcarona which has Quiver Dance, Armarouge which has Calm Mind, and Torkoal which has Drought, but Mega Pyroar having higher base speed to work with, it could be quite balanced as a regular Pokemon with Choice Specs or a Life Orb. Next, we have Mega Victreebel. This was one of the Megas introduced in an animated trailer for ZA before the game came out, and a lot of fans have been speculating that it will get an ability that allows it to hit Steel types for neutral or even super effective damage with Poison type moves due to how it's described on the Legends ZA website. I feel like people are putting way too much faith into these descriptions though, because look at how Lucario Z was described to increase its defense, only to see its Mega's defense stats remain the exact same. I also don't see an ability or move ever turning an immunity into a weakness, because Scrappy only turns Ghost's immunities into neutralities, and same with Zygarde's 1000 Arrows and its new move Nile Light that hits Fairy for neutral, not super effective. I still think Corrosion would make sense for it to get, which allows it to poison Steel and Poison type Pokemon that would normally be immune. With it having access to Toxic and Toxic Spikes for poisoning, along with Venoshock that doubles in power when the opponent is poisoned that comes off of its high 135 special attack stat, I could see Mega Victreebel being okay as a regular Pokemon. The main reason that I don't see it as any better than just okay is that it doesn't get the spread Poison Gas or Mortal Spin, which would allow it to really abuse Corrosion, and its mixed attacking stats means that it doesn't have great bulk or speed, so you probably wouldn't pick it over Amoonguss, Rillaboom, or Weezing. It does at least have much higher special attack than those three, but it still doesn't seem promising. Next, we have Mega Eelektross. A lot of Pokemon got shafted by the lack of abilities in ZA, with some of them at least having something to help account for that, like Zygarde and Aegislash still being able to transform, and the huge power mons having 40% higher base attack, even though it should be more like 200% higher. But Eelektross' whole gimmick of not having any weaknesses is ruined by it losing Levitate. Its Mega's stat spread isn't helping with that either, since it only gets slightly stronger and is now at an awkward speed of 80, which isn't really great for Trick Room and definitely isn't great to be used without some kind of speed control. With a Choice Scarf and a 145 base attack stat, I think Galvanize would be a really solid ability on it that it would be able to take advantage of with Body Slam. It doesn't get Double Edge or Hyper Voice though, and with it losing Levitate, being a mono electric type whose stab gets walled by ground, and only having Liquidation as super effective physical coverage, I think it would be quite balanced. It has good setup with Coil, and its electric stab hits harder than Iron Hands while also having higher speed, but Iron Hands has way better bulk, a secondary typing that it has great stab on, Fake Out, and comparable coverage options. Eelektross could also go special or mixed, although it has pretty bad special normal moves with only Hyper Beam and Swift, since I assume that Terra Blast won't be in the game if Terra isn't in the game, so its regular special electric moves would be better than trying to make use of Galvanize. Next, we have Mega Scovillain. You should be seeing a pattern here that unless you already have a high base stat total or have a good speed stat, mixed attacking Megas will not work. Scovillain's stats are straight out of Gen 3, and its Mega just accentuates that. Plus 30 attack and special attack and plus 20 defense and special defense might actually be the worst way to distribute 100 stat points. Mega Rayquaza actually has a similar stat increase, with it getting plus 30 attack and special attack, plus 10 defense and special defense, but it also gets plus 20 speed, and since Rayquaza is a restricted legendary that has high stats to begin with and doesn't need to hold a Mega Stone, it can get away with having a less than ideal Mega base stat distribution. I honestly don't even think that Chlorophyll plus Orichalcum Pulse would save Scovillain as a Mega, because it has pretty bad physical options, but as a regular Pokemon, Sheer Force would be solid on it to take advantage of its slightly better special options. The main two moves it has with removable secondary effects are Energy Ball and Flamethrower, with it for some reason not even getting Heat Wave for spread damage. While this could definitely deal good damage with a Life Orb because of Sheer Force's unique interaction with the item, Scovillain doesn't learn a single special coverage move, and it also learns no status moves that raise its speed. It does have Trailblaze, an attacking move that raises speed, but Sheer Force would cancel out that effect, so it still has no way of getting faster. I really struggled with finding a balanced way of making Scovillain work as a regular Pokemon, so let me know if you have any ideas other than sunsetting abilities and the obvious broken ones like Huge Power and Wonder Guard. Next, we have Mega Chimecho. Chimecho has one of the lowest base stat totals of any Pokemon with a Mega Evolution at 455, and even at 555 with a really good distribution of those 100 stat points, Mega Chimecho only seems okay. But again, as a regular Pokemon, it would be great. Psychic Steel is a fantastic typing, and Chimecho has a crazy good support move pool with things like Both Screens, Imprison, Trick Room, Gravity, Trick, Encore, Heal Pulse, Yawn, Disable, Hypnosis, Helping Hand, Taunt, and Thunderwave. For its ability, keeping Levitate would be good defensively since that gets rid of its new ground weakness, but bad offensively since that ungrounds it, which makes Expanding Force not terrain boosted. So, another ability that could work is Soundproof, which I feel fits Chimecho's theme of being a wind chime itself. At 135 special attack, it's a side grade to Hatterene, which has 136 special attack with lower speed and a better offensive secondary typing, but worse bulk, making neither of them completely outclass each other. Chimecho is good if you value defense since it has more resistances and higher HP, defense, and special defense, while Hatterene is better if you really want to make sure that you underspeed in Trick Room and want to have a more consistent way to answer the dark types that are immune to Psychic, while also bouncing back status moves that might stop you from getting Trick Room up, or whatever other status move that might disrupt your game plan. Next, we have Mega Tatsugiri. In VGC, Tatsugiri's main role is to just give Dondozo its double Omni boost, and now it finally has a use on its own with a Mega. With a base stat total of only 475 that gets bumped to 575 though, and some of those stat points being wasted as they go into its attack stat, Mega Tatsugiri doesn't seem promising. It kinda just seems like a side grade or even downgrade to Walking Wake, which actually has a decent use thanks to its unique signature move. Something that I think could set Tatsugiri apart though is Mega Launcher. My justification here is in one of its ZA Dex entries where it's stated that Mega Tatsugiri launches projectiles that explode on contact. This would allow two of its stab moves to get boosted by 50%, Dragon Pulse and Water Pulse, but it would be by no means broken since they are both medium to low power single target moves, with Dragon Pulse not even having a secondary effect and Water Pulse only having a 20% chance to confuse. It gets Nasty Plot for setting up, Icy Wind for speed control, but otherwise it has a pretty underwhelming move pool with barely any coverage at all. With a Life Orb for extra damage that still allows it to change moves and set up with Nasty Plot, and two solid but not broken stab moves that get boosted by Mega Launcher, Mega Tatsugiri would be pretty good as a regular Pokemon. Lastly, we have Mega Clefable. Clefairy is generally preferred over Clefable in doubles thanks to Friend Guard, and with Mega Clefable gaining the flying typing, it basically just makes it a side grade to Togekiss and Enamorous Therian since they have the same typing and very similar stats. With it getting Follow Me, it's actually really similar to Togekiss, so I want to make sure that its ability gives it a different enough use while not completely outclassing it, and I suggest Natural Cure. Friend Guard on a Mon with Redirection in this good of defenses would just be a complete upgrade to Togekiss, but Natural Cure would be a lot more balanced. It allows Clefable to redirect a Spore or other status condition inflicting move and heal itself by switching out, but doesn't just straight up give it an immunity. Other than redirection, Clefable can heal its partner with Life Dew and Heal Pulse, control speed with Icy Wind, and deal very good damage with Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam, which comes off of its 135 special attack stat, the same as Fluttermane. It's a shame that it doesn't get Trick Room, because it would make for a great Trick Room support mon, but either way, it would be a good partner to an earthquaking ally like Ursaluna, since Clefable is immune to ground and can supply fairy damage, which works really well with ground. And those are new Mega Evolutions and how they could actually be balanced if they were regular Pokemon. Let me know if you disagree with any of my picks, or if you maybe want me to do this with the old Megas as well. Anyway, if you want to support me and my channel, just leave a nice comment since I do read all comments. You can also become a member for 99 US cents a month to get a badge next to your name and early video access like all of these lovely people. If you want bonus content, check out my second channel, Extra Bell, where I post videos I've scrapped from the main channel, as well as more casual, unscripted videos. Likes are also one of the ways that YouTube determines if a video should be passed around to more people, so if you feel that this video deserves to be, I would appreciate it. Thanks for watching.